All right. Welcome back, everybody, to an all new episode of Let's Talk Lions Live. Today, we have the privilege of having Lions legend, former wide receiver, Herman Moore on the show. Herman, how's it going, my man?
Hey, it's good, Jay. What's good, man?
You know what? It's been a good day. I know the dreary weather is what it is, but I gotta ask you, you're drinking coffee at 5:30 p.m. How?
This is my normal. This is what I do. Now you notice, so everyone who's looking, my cup is not red. So everybody know what the red cup is. It's not a red cup yet. So this is just me having a cup of coffee, so I can have a good conversation with you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. There's been a few times where I've had to throw one back during a video here. No, but I appreciate it. We got a bunch of people already in the chat. We got Nothing, who this guy's from Australia. Nothing is dedicated. It's 7 a.m. and he's chilling with us. So that's huge. Thank you,
That's
Nothing.
it.
Yeah, penultimate Lions fan. We got them all in here. So, Herman, there's just a couple things. I don't want to waste your time and just want to kind of jump right in. Very specifically, coming into this season, something that we knew was going to be a struggle was the wide receiver room, right? That was something that has been called out. It was called out multiple times. And so you, as a former wide receiver, when you were coming into this season looking at our room, what were some of your thoughts then? And maybe compared to what you're seeing and what you're thinking now.
I was like with everyone else. You lose guys like Galladay, you lose a Marvin Jones Jr., and you think about Stafford and you had Hawkinson. You had a pretty good unit coming into the season. All of a sudden, that gets disrupted. You have a new OC, you have new coaching staff, and all of a sudden, I got names and players other than two or three guys.
Right.
There were really no other guys I really knew of. And then, there were some that I was thinking that, like Geronimo, I thought maybe he was going to have an opportunity because he was a veteran and he could add something. When they came in, I looked at Brashard Perriman, and you start to see that there was a big group of wide receivers. They were young. Some were veterans. Some they had a kind of a mixture of players. And then it went from that to, man, I'm looking up trying to figure out who are these players. And what has emerged out of that is coaching being able to elevate the different players that they have into role players, and then discovering which players can fit which part of the system. So I was concerned, Jay, that they didn't have the pieces. But then what I've seen is that the pieces have started to kind of emerge. St. Brown, I knew he had a role, but I was like, how big of a role will he play? I think that still is trying to get worked out and established, but I know he's a player.
Yeah.
You look at Raymond, and you look at some of the others that starting to fill out. They still just don't have that big play wide receiver. Right? I'm looking for that true number one. Other than that, I'm not feeling too bad about the receiving unit. I just know that there's nothing there to scare me. How's that?
No,
I'm a
that's
player.
fair.
There's nothing there that really scares me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you look at the only one who stood out to me coming into this year was Terrell Williams, and he's been on IR. And I know it was originally concussion protocol. And at this point, I was searching, trying to find out what's going on with him. When can we expect to see him back? And because really, he was the only individual coming into this year that I knew more about, a decent amount about coming into it. But you bring up an individual who I love, a guy who I went to training camp one day and I just watched him ball out, and that was Khalif Raymond. And so looking at him, do you think that he has a future in Detroit, even if it's an extension of another year, another 2 years? Do you see a future for him?
I think there's a future for Khalif Raymond, but it's going to have to come through consistency over time. Watching a player have breakout games, having an opportunity to see a player that will make plays and kind of not sporadic, but you start to see him building each time he's making plays. Does that merit giving him extra time? Yeah. Do I sign him to an extra year? Yeah, especially if he's learned my system, he's picked it up. He seems to be someone that's dependable, and you can see the confidence building each week. But that still doesn't get you off the prize of saying we still got to bring in that home run threat. We got to bring in still someone who provides that go-to that you find that you see in a guy like Hawkinson, that you just there's no thought process that's there. But no, I like what he's done. I like the way I've seen him start to get better. He's getting more involved. I think if you get St. Brown to get even more involved, you start to develop that 2-3 or that couple number threes. So that gives you some room to go over there and get some other players.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? It's funny because I'm looking over here in the chat and we got people already looking at the draft. And personally, I think it might be a little early to be looking at the draft. Just my own personal opinion. I kind of want to wait until at least after week 12, week 13, when you kind of see where you're getting situated. Because people are already looking at the Lions and like, oh, first round draft pick. Yeah, standing today, yes. But I think the Lions are going to win a couple games here, and we might be 1 through 3, 1 through 4. So, I don't want to get too far ahead of where we're at.
That's always a good conversation, though. You start talking about the draft. I mean, it's way too early, way too early. So I agree on that end, but that never stops the Lion faithful from talking about that draft position. But at some point, don't you want to sit there and go, "Wow, we're picking really late in the draft this year, man." It's just that picking early piece cannot become part of tradition. So let's stop it.
I'm with you. Dr. Detroit, though, he's throwing out some love towards you, Herman. He's enjoying having you on here, and we all are. And quite frankly, for anybody just joining right now, this is a really big deal for me, for the subs that are here, having you, somebody who has been a part of this franchise, who still loves the franchise. And quite frankly, I actually would love to not put you on the spot here, but you developed something called Lions Nation Unite, and I think it's something awesome. I don't know if you want to give a plug for it now or if you want to just wait till the end, but would love to hear your process in that and what it is.
Oh yeah, no, I'll plug it now, and then I know you'll be so gracious as a host to let me plug it again later, because that's just the heart that you have. So there's several, and even some that are on now that understand and know kind of the mission behind it, that are also members of Lions Nation Unite, and it was just basically a platform developed specifically for the Lion community and those that have been following this team, those that are looking to get in and talk about it, but at a depth that even if you come in sometimes and you're frustrated and there's anger, but you know that these are the people that are most passionate about it. These are those that have really spent time, effort, money, energy around this team and this organization and its players. They're vested in it. They travel, and in itself, there is no off season. And so with Lions Nation Unite, and those of you who haven't gone there, you can go to lionsnationunite.com. Check us out. Check out the trailer that we have there, with me giving you a little, rah-rah to get your emotion up.
Oh, it's good.
But then to download the app for your Android or your Apple or your iPhone, and join the community, man. Come in there, have a voice. It gives me an opportunity. That's how I've had an opportunity, Jay, to meet you and meet so many others that are doing some really amazing content. And I've developed what I would say is a friendship, man. And it extends beyond just saying that we're all in the same space, or that you guys are following me as a former player, or I'm following you as a content provider or a voice. But the platforms that you all have are worthy of it having its own platform in place for your stuff to reside. So that's what I'm there for. That's what the community was built for by myself and my team to do that. So thank you for that very shameless plug.
No,
but it's meant sincere, man. You know me, and for those of you who haven't, tell your people about it, man. Let's grow that community, and there's tons of giveaways and support that my team and I and my businesses are going to provide for it, for the work and the efforts that they give.
100%. It is phenomenal because, like, I always found myself on like Reddit or like these other threads where there's Lions fans, you're talking to them. So to see it all come into one place is really a special thing, seeing all these Lions fans together. So I do love it. I love it. All right. So popping back over to the wide receiver chat. A question, you brought up Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? And my question for you is, what are the next steps that when you look at his gameplay, when you watch the way he works, whether it's his route running, his feet, whatever it is, what are the next steps to elevate him to the next level, take him to the next spot?
Opportunity. It's going to come down to they got to give him opportunity. He has to also show there's consistency in his routes. Show that even when he catches passes, especially a player his size. I mean, he's not as small as he may appear on TV. I mean, he's got good size, he's got good structure, and I think he could become a dominant player. He works hard, his work ethic is good, but I think it's going to come with them giving him more opportunity, more responsibility, and really making him understand what his position is. So the coaches are going to have to help him move to the next level. Like, what is his role?
Yeah.
How do you want to utilize him? Let him start to establish his craft and own a percentage of accountability for this offense and its production. If the Lions will start to do that, which is what I've seen happen on the defensive side. And that's why when I look at the defense and the offense, I see an acceleration of talent where it's like, here's what we're asking you to do. Here's how we need it done. And we need it done now. And we need to see progression and growth every week. Well, that's one side. Well, on the offensive side, unless your numbers being dialed, it's hard to go out there. You can't play individual roles like you do sometimes on the defensive side. So it's a little bit more difficult, but that's where I see him growing. And but the coaches are going to have to help him.
Okay. All right. No, that's great. That's great information. And you know what? You bring up something that you talk about the coaching. You talk about the coaches, and something that I've seen people bringing up via my channel elsewhere is, for you, having been on the sideline, Anthony Lynn, our OC, is sitting up in the booth, right? He's not on the sidelines, but you see somebody like AG, you see Aaron Glenn down there with the defense on the sideline. How much of a difference does it really make having Anthony Lynn not there with the fellas during the game? Like, do you think that's playing a part at all? I don't know. Just a question that I see people bringing up that I'd love to ask you.
That's always a tough take. Tom Moore was an offensive coordinator that wanted to be on the sidelines. He wanted to be down. The coaches asked him to go up in the booth. Otherwise, he was down on the sideline. We could talk to him. I know when he was with Arizona, he moved down sometimes to the sideline, even when he was in Indianapolis with Peyton Manning and those guys. The OC's position is to be able to see the field, but also the strategy of dialing up the plays. They have to do their homework and understand the defensive challenges and or vulnerabilities that they can expose in their opponent. And they have to set these players up to succeed. And then you got to be able to transition and be flexible enough to pivot if things are going one way or another, whether it's going good or bad. The running game is off and popping. How do you stick with that and you continue to dial up the right plays? Or if it's not working, how do you transition to get? So it's they are chef in their own kitchen, man. They got all these ingredients and they're trying to figure out what meal is gonna satisfy the appetite, of their clients. And with some, they prefer to be up there. I mean, I always like to be able to talk to my coordinators. There's technology that allows us to be in the ear. Everyone can't talk to them at one time. So from a communication standpoint, it doesn't matter where you are calling up those plays. I always think, I used to think it was important for a coordinator to be down on the field, but this isn't high school. This isn't college where you need to just be on that guy's shoulder all the time. Up top is where it's happening. And he has to be able to have that free mindset. He's got to be able to dial up the right plays. You can't be manipulated by the presence of a player. Can you imagine if you have a superstar quarterback that's coming in and they're chawing you out on the sideline? Every camera crew's on you. They're trying to it's a whole different world now. So I would say, long story short, I send my OC up top. I make sure that he's accessible for my team, my players, and I make sure that anytime there's communication that we have that figured out. And so it's streamlined. That's it. Pretty simple.
Dang. Wow. Thank you for the insight. That's pretty cool. Cause it's just something I've been wondering. It is having him up in the booth affecting any of that, not the camaraderie, but the way, really the presence and the feel, the vibe on that sideline. Real quick, somebody did throw in a $2 donation, Lions fan Paulie 1FP, and he asked, "Hey Herman, what's your opinion about the Bears?"
Oh, other than I'm surprised at Fields. I'm
Yeah.
surprised at the fact that when you look at the dysfunction that they've had at the quarterback position over the years, that they could still be better right now than,
Yeah.
than we are with our record. But I don't think they're necessarily their overall better team. And I would also say uh, Chicago always seems to be able to attract the, I won't say the talent, because this isn't like you go out and you recruit players, but when free agency rolls around, there's something about that still draws talent to them to say, you know what, I wouldn't mind playing in Chicago. And
Yeah.
it could be the fact that they've won championships. It could be the fact that they're always that player or those players away, and it doesn't seem like it's a complete rebuild. And they've always been near the opportunity to win a division or always in the middle. But
Yeah.
you've never really seen them hit just rock bottom. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, all right. That's cool. That's fair,
And they
man.
gave me a lot of touchdowns. That's the only other thing I remember about Chicago Bears.
Boom, roasted. Got him. All right, my man. Listen, I don't want to waste too much more of your time, so I just got two more questions for you, quick ones. The state of the Lions. You know, you look at the way that obviously we're in rebuilding, retooling, reconstruction, as I once heard you call it. Do you think that we are trending upwards as an organization?
As a let's break that into two parts. When we say organization and we say team, a lot of times people think that's in parallel. And while they do work together, they're not necessarily always connected. As an organization, I can't speak as probably top of mind and as I probably could have in the past. So I don't know how much they're doing inside the organization itself. But I do know this, that the team and the players I see defensively, there's been an upward trend. I see confidence trending upward. I see that there's a little bit of disarray that's happening offensively due to injury, and also just the fact that there's been a stall. There's questions at the quarterback position. There's question marks around why we're not running the football more and getting more out of those guys. And then there's also the fact that we're still trying to develop talent at the skill position and decide if Penei Sewell should stay on one side of the line or another side. I mean, it's just you just didn't expect that, being that this was such an offensive unit coming in that supposedly was, other than the wide receiver position, everything else was pretty much kind of baked. And now we're finding areas that are concerning. So there's a little bit of concern there, but from an organization standpoint, I think there's still some concern as to how it's being managed or run up top. I think with the GM Holmes is done a fine job of assembling the right coaches and putting together the right team. But Rod Woods, I think, is more of the management side of it. So it's kind of a fragmented component to understand who's really pulling the shots or pulling the trigger in different areas.
Okay. Wow. That's awesome. No, I appreciate it. So you looking at this, you look at this squad. Is this our first W against Philly this week? Yay or nay?
I tell you what, if they don't get it against Philly, man, it may be another stretch there before they wait to get another one. So if there's an opportunity, Philly's not going to be a cakewalk.
No.
And they're not going to come in, they're not going to lie down. The Lions will have to beat Philly. Is it a winnable game? Yes. Is it a game that they could lose because they don't have consistency or play well? Yeah. So there's some factors. I give the Lions a better than 50% chance of winning this game because it's at home, because of the fact that I think they have a whole different level of confidence coming back from LA. And I think with Philly, I don't think they're going to understand quite who they're facing, quite honestly. Yeah. And that's going to be a disadvantage to them because I don't think they can prepare as properly as you would with a more veteran or seasoned team.
Excellent. Awesome. Thank you for the insight there. I think all this just leads me to one last question for you. It's Lord of the Rings, right? We talked about it a little bit beforehand. when it comes to Lord of the Rings, man, there's two major battles in the cinema, right? When you look at the cinema, you look at the movies, there's Helm's Deep in the second movie, and then there's the battle for Minas Tirith in the third movie. Which battle's better?
Now, Jay, I'm 52 years old. And even if I start answering the question about Lords of the Ring, you should want to slap me. That's one. That's one. Unless I'm sitting around taking some kids to a show, buying popcorn. Hey, you need to ask me some adult movies.
That's fair. That's fair.
I
You
don't
know
mean
what?
like the adult movies. I'm talking about like come on, man. Like
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings. I know you got a lot of Lord of the Ring people that
yeah,
are on
yeah,
and that are
yeah.
watching. Hey, kudos. You guys enjoy it. I wish I knew magic because I could help the Lions get more wins, but I don't. And I'm gonna let you and your group figure that one out. But when you guys are ready to step up to the grown folk world, you let me know.
Done deal. I don't know if you've seen Dune yet. I'm getting pumped on it though. Oh man. Well, the answer is Helm's Deep, so no worries. If anybody
All
ever
right,
asks you again,
there you go. There you
it's
go.
Helm's Deep.
You asked me
Well,
about some Samuel Jackson movies or some. Maybe I'll even go as deep as you want to get into the Avengers or something like
I
that.
do
Hey,
like the MCU. That's
all
good
right,
stuff.
all right. So
All
maybe
right,
maybe,
I'll come
maybe
up
we
with
go
it.
there. War
Yeah.
movies, stuff like that. I'm your guy.
All right, done deal. I'll come up with some other stuff next time. All right, man. If you want to just give one more plug for Lions Nation Unite for all those that have just joined, let it rip.
Yeah, so everyone that's just joining, man, I appreciate you. Appreciate you showing a lot of love to my guy Jay. And if you get a chance, if you're a loyal Lion fan and you're looking for some great content, you're looking for a way to contribute to a community that is growing, go over to lionsnationunite.com, check us out, watch the little trailer I put up there to get you motivated, and then download our app. And you can do that for the iPhone, and you can do that for your Android system. And other than that, hey, continue to follow, continue to share and support those that are supporting and creating great content in our community, like Jay and the rest of you. I know there's a lot of other content creators that are on tonight and today, depending on where you are. I know you're in Australia. I know it's early. Hey, top of the morning, mate. But do that. I appreciate you having me, and I look forward to joining you again, man.
Hey, Herman, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for the insight. I know everybody was super psyched to have you on to hear what you had to say. And we'll definitely have this happen again. Looking forward to it. Thank you, man.
Always a pleasure, man. You guys
All
be
right.
good.
All right. Catch you later.
See you.
All right. So, everybody, that was Herman Moore hanging out with us. Nothing, dude. You're welcome. Guys, I'm just glad. First of all, I'm just glad to have him on. I mean, what a stud. Herman Moore is a phenomenal individual. He has a ton of insight, even really bringing up specifically what was so interesting to me was the one regarding Anthony Lynn, right? And hearing a player's take on having that OC on the field or up top, just the difference between that. Listen, guys, this was a blast. I did not expect his answer regarding Lord of the Rings. But yeah, we'll have him back on here another time, and I'm going to set up a live stream for all of us. Actually, I want to say I may be live streaming Thursday or Friday night around the same time with an Eagles fan. We'll talk about the game, the upcoming game. I'll get your guys' input. We'll hang out just like normal. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I'm gonna go make some Reubens because it feels like tonight's a Reuben night. And by it feels like, I mean 10 hours ago I started slow cooking corned beef. So it was Reuben night. It is Reuben night. That's all I gotta say about that. All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging out. I'll catch you next time on Let's Talk Lions.